But actually, those things will not happen.
Those things will not happen. Why not? What do you mean those things?
Market price still, they try to focus on investment from outside the company market share, market price.
Market price?
Mm.
You mean the stock price? Or?
Stock price instead of employees.
Yes. Yeah, because actually, I mean, like capital is even more fluid than labor. Every shareholder can invest in whatever he sees most fit. So if you are as an organization not maximizing shareholder value, why would people want to buy your stocks?
My simple question is, employees long-term investment, but get profit short-term, right?
Yeah.
So
what we see,
many people saying American company now is shifting from long side to short sighted.
Right. So the relationship between the workers and the companies is getting loosened and loosened because the companies need to maximize shareholder values, not only in order to get capital, but also for the people, the managers, to actually get the salary that they want. And the salary consists of like a regular salary plus what they make on their shares. And what they make on the shares is becoming a larger and larger and larger part, like tens, 20 millions of dollars every year.
So this is an issue we need to discuss for declining or middle class.
Yes, because basically labor has become like a really underrated element in production.
Underrated?
Underrated.
What do you mean underrated?
Underrated. It's not important anymore. It's disposable. People are disposable. People no longer, companies no longer depend on their workers, because if people in Michigan don't want to work, then why don't we outsource the whole thing to Mexico or to wherever? The world is our playing ground. It doesn't matter.
So developed countries, workers, they're losing jobs year by year, right?
Yeah.
Accelerated by IT industry.
Right.
Right? So what we should do?
What we should do?
This is our concern the past couple of weeks, right?
Right.
Like a taxi driver.
Well, I think one of the things that basically the unbridled focus on shareholder value needs to change.
Unbridled, what is
unlimited focus, unlimited emphasis on shareholder value needs to change. Basically, long-term growth, because short-term growth is also not good for companies in the longer run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because short-term profit could also be inflated by not making certain investments that are necessary to stay competitive.
Mm.
Why, for example, is the US currently trailing in 5G and China is leading? I think one of the reasons is that considerable investments are necessary. Mm. And China can afford to have a long-term perspective because most of their companies are supported by government money. So basically, in the old model, I think there was a much bigger chance that the United States would be able to actually develop and take a lead in 5G technology. Mm. But currently, when short-term perspective is prevailing, investment in 5G is not.
Why American industry, IT industry, lag behind of 5G?
Because I think one of the reasons is that such big investments are necessary to become a leader in this field, that people prefer, or maybe even for companies. Profit. Yeah, it's necessary to show short-term profit. If they don't, they will be punished so much by the stock market that they might not even exist anymore. So they might not even be able to reap the benefits of 5G if they don't meet investor expectations, shareholder expectations. So this is a big risk, especially for capital-intensive, like investment in R&D. American IT industry and other industries become more and more vulnerable for the current belief that shareholder value maximizing the share price, maximizing the profit per share, is everything. This makes very short-term perspective.
So they should return to consider for more workers' education or investment and training for the people.
Yes.
Give younger people opportunity with education.
Right.
How about Japan?
Well, in Japan also we see more and more Japanese companies are not investing in workers anymore. They're also focusing on reducing costs by creating more and more jobs for temporary workers without committing long term. So we see the same thing happening. I'm not sure whether it's driven by shareholder maximization or basically just remaining competitive on a global scale.
What is the major reason Japanese companies are getting trapped compared with
I think basically what's happening is that Japanese companies are competing on a global level. I think there is a tendency not wanting to or wanting to rely on Japanese people, Japanese circle, in order to keep producing. So outsourcing their business to China, outsourcing to South Asia, gives them a cost benefit. But I believe that there is a tendency and a conservativeness that if we just reduce the cost of our production, we can still keep it in Japan. We don't have to take the risk of outsourcing it. We don't have to.
Japan not much outsourcing?
Basically, I would say that this is a step that is happening. My assumption, I'm not talking about facts, my assumption is that companies are trying to reduce their cost structure in order to keep producing in Japan. And only when that ends, when basically they run to an end and they're still not competitive, they will start business process outsourcing. But they will try to postpone it as long as they can in order to just keep production at home, because you work with Japanese, that you work the Japanese way. We can expect certain qualities, and
they try to keep everything within Japan.
Yeah.
Just a couple minutes.
Right.
We're going to quick.
Every day eat いきなりステーキ。
今日は he ate カツサンド。
Oh, that's
But then he ate a whole bag of peanuts afterwards. Well, not a whole bag, but kind of a lot of peanuts.
maybe he's a bit masculine.
わかんない。
Masculine makes body temperature high.
Maybe he eats too much sugar. I think drank about this much honey.でも頑張ってるね。
これ帰ってきたんだ、図書館から。すげえ。
そう。でもまあ、like lending them or borrowing from the library is of course useful, but ultimately you need a kind of reference because you forget coding.
I think Lulu-san should record the video of how to learn this program skill. on YouTube.
Right.
Over 70 years,
Mhm.
but I could program.
I learned how to program. So,
It's tremendous surprising.
so how to become a programmer at 70?
Oh, Kimoto, you are just 60. You could.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.